So the Leinster Semi Finals, we'll go this one first. Kilmacud Crokes 116, St Mary's Ardee 111. If Kilmacud Crokes now win this final, they actually have the most Leinster club championships of all time. Paul Mannion and Shane Walsh hit 10 points between them, 5 points each, to lead the way for Crokes to a victory against the gutsy St Mary's Ardee. Dara Dempsey hit the back of the net for Kilmacud in the first half. They led by 10 points at half time, but Ardee surged back into the game in the second half and trailed only by 2 points on 46 minutes. They hit 1-5 without reply, with Ryan Rooney hitting the goal. Kilmacud responded to this, though, by pushing on in the final quarter. Shane Horan and Luke Ward got on the score sheet as they powered to victory. Now, having read out the recap of this game, again, though, it's Crokes being dominant and taking their foot off the gas at stages and being caught. Raheny nearly caught them. Skerry's Harps nearly caught them in the Dublin Championship. Is this a pattern with Crokes, or do you think they can get it under control?
Yeah, look, that was the thing. Like, again, look, from tracking this game, like, I think we all saw the Mannion scores of the weekend, that like he was kicking scores from everywhere. They were absolutely cruising, and that like the forwards really turned it on, everything like that as well. I don't think it's them taking their foot off the pedal. I think the panel is just more tested this year, and that I think like you're still looking at it without Shoveling, without Diaz, without down a few lads down at the back, in the back as well. I think the panel just is more tested. That they're down probably about 5 fellas that they had last year. They're calling on fellas that I suppose that they weren't even being used last year. Like, there's some players who've come in, like Brian Sheehy, who's been really, really good, but like last year he was an unused sub essentially for the whole year. So they are calling up players and trusting them to be kind of playing at the same level as what their All-Ireland winners from last year were. So like, I think it's kind of natural with that there's going to be periods in games that they're not going to dominate as much. I think it's like, I do know that they were playing away from home up in Ardee, like against Ardee up there, and that it was always going to be tough kind of place to play as well. That there was no way Ardee were going to go a full game of just allowing Crokes to play in their own terms. So it was a potential banana skin for them up there, but like, look, they got the job done, and that was the thing. It came back to 2 points, but you did always believe the Crokes they'd have enough to kind of kick on, that they'd have the scorers, they'd have the Mannions and the Walshes would step up as well. Just that level of firepower up there, and as well, like, even with all the players missing, like a team of Crokes with all their members is always going to have more depth than an Ardee. So look, it's job done for Crokes. Could have been a potential banana skin, but look, they're true. They can probably say not the most convincing win that they're ever going to have, and management probably have a bit of a stick to beat them with now over the, like you said, the scores, the several scores in a row from Ardee. But I think look, it's another game job done for Crokes. But I think the point you make, that like, and the fact that the panel is being tested, like it means that the game that we're going to talk about in a minute, that the final coming up against Naas is definitely tighter for me this year than I suppose what we had last year.
Well, that's it. Like Craig Diaz was back amongst the team as well, and that's a massive boost that he's back around the team. We will touch on the Naas game now. So Naas against St. Lomans. This one finished 115 to 110 in favour of Naas after extra time. So, I mean, this one right down to the wire. This one went in normal time. Dara Kieran was the crucial man. He scored 1-7 for Naas. At the end of normal time, it finished 12 points to 1-9. The crucial Loman's goal came from Shane Dempsey to send the game to extra time. In extra time, Dara Kieran hit the goal in the first 2 minutes, and Naas had a 3-point advantage at the break. They kicked on to win by 5. Look, this game could have gone 50-50, and I was on Gaelic Assassins podcast previewing the games. Big shout out, of course, to Matthew. And we went different ways on this one. I picked Naas, he picked Lomans. I could have seen either of those teams winning, and very nearly Lomans did, but wasn't to be. Naas get there in extra time. And like, are you seeing Naas also being better than they were last year?
It's hard to know. I think I'd say that they're similar enough. Like, I think like this was always going to be a tough game for them. That like Lomans did look to be that bit better this year as well, that they really took on strides. You look at their team as well, the amount of intercounty players that Lomans have is pretty ridiculous. That it's a good chunk of that Westmeath panel is on that Loman side. They've been in Leinster before. They know to win games in the province. So it was always going to be a really, really tough game. And look, I think any sort of win, just get through there as well. Like you said, like Naas could have won it in normal time. But then at the same time, Lomans were kind of leading the game throughout for large parts of the game too. So I think like it was just, again, another one of these definitely could have been a banana skin. And look, I think Naas would take any sort of victory to get through there as well. Like you said, the Dara Kerwin goal was probably the highlight of the game. Like that was just, it was just a really, really nice long ball in as well. He took the ball clean in the air as well, turned, and it was like from a fair distance out, left foot shot, bottom corner. I think that was just, it was a worthy way to win the game. And like he's like his form this year has been in for the club, but in particular has been really, really good. So no, I'll be really interested to see how that sets up the Crokes final. I'd imagine Theo Clancy will probably pick up Kerwin, which like that's gonna be some test for Clancy, because I think a lot of people in Dublin here are kind of hopeful that that's going to be the fullback for Dublin, if not next year, do it the year after. So great, that'd be great matchup there coming up.
Well, that's it, and like you've summed it up pretty well there. Like I'm going to be keeping a close eye on this game for Theo Clancy. I'm going to be watching how does Theo get on an inter-county forward like Dara Kerwin, who will be the leading man for Kildare for the next few years. So we can really see kind of what standards we're expecting from Theo in this game. If he cleans out Dara Kerwin in this game, put him in the Dublin team next year, as far as I'm concerned, because Dara Kerwin is an outstanding forward. But going into that final, Naas Kilmacud Crokes, you mentioned that Kilmacud's panel is getting more tested. Is there a route there to victory for Naas in this game, or are Crokes too strong?
Yeah, look, I'm not going to bet against Crokes and Leinster. I've said it all year that Crokes will win Leinster. I'm not sure if they'll win the All Ireland this year. They might be a little bit tested for an All Ireland this year, Crokes, that like if they can go the entire way. But like after watching them against Raheny in Dublin when they were coming out, I thought there's no way they could. They've improved since then, but like I would say that I think I'm not going to bet against them in Leinster. I think Naas we've said since the start that Naas are the team that have the best shot of taking them down in Leinster, and I think it's going to be really, really close. But like I'm going to say Crokes by, I'd say just a score, but I'd say maybe 2 or 3 points. I'm going to go Crokes.